Unlike a bunch of the big high-profile trials that have been going on over the past couple of years, I haven't really been giving too many steady updates when it comes to this one. Now, it doesn't. I don't want to diminish the crime that's at stake here, okay? And then the guy who's ultimately going to end up getting locked away for his entire life with no possibility of parole, especially the way that he's been conducting himself inside the confines of the courtroom. There's just not a lot to report when it comes to this stuff. It's not really funny. It's not really tragic. It's just kind of banal as it continues to go on, and it's likely to wrap up this week at some point in time. And ultimately, when the sentence ends up going down, I'm probably going to see a spurg out from Darrell Brooks, and the trial that we're talking about here specifically is that of Darrell Brooks, who is representing himself and doing a piss poor job, if we're going to keep it $1.50. But even still, this is the monster who was abducted by Ford. Nah, we'll just drop the pretense on that one. He drove his red Ford Escape, Ford SUV, something like that. I don't know. He used to be able to keep track of the different makes and models of vehicles that are out there. Took his red Ford, drove through the Christmas parade in Waukesha after the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict came out. No correlation there at all whatsoever. That's weird. One thing that hasn't come up in the trial yet, but obviously I say it now and it's going to get, foisted out there at one point or another because he's really running out of excuses. But the whole race thing hasn't really come up. Don't know if it's a motion in limine decided before the trial, with the prosecution, I don't know, taking mercy on him or something like that, because he said a bunch of weird stuff when it comes to his hatred of white people, and the fact that he was running through a Christmas parade that had dancing grannies and a bunch of young kids at sports teams. One kid, a couple of grannies, and then a few middle-aged people were the ones who ended up dying. 6 people are dead, and dozens more are injured. Like 60 people ended up getting clipped and horrifically maimed by this fucking monster. Like, the entire point of this trial and his one lone defensive tactic was comporting himself appropriately in front of the jury, presenting some sort of a passable case, and maybe he could have convinced one of the it's 4 women or 6 women, I don't know, a couple of the women that were on the trial, okay, that poor black guy, he just really got caught up in a bad situation. He really had a bad upbringing, and we should really let him. He's still a young man. We need to give him the opportunity for parole, don't you know? That's, just kind of gone out the fucking window. He continues to drag all this shit on. He continues to pull all these fucking sovereign citizen goddamn stupid fucking arguments. Tried to call the state of Wisconsin, right? I have a right to face my accuser in this trial. Or also, what was his second or third fucking witness? Also, I called the judge because she being prejudicial and shit. It's like, bro, you're not winning yourself any fucking points. You're just delaying for as long as possible. You're hoping that somebody has a catastrophic fuck up in the courtroom, so that you have some sort of an appeal point. But any opportunity of getting parole, everybody is sick of your shit. They're tired of wasting 3 fucking weeks of their time just to hear you ramble on, try the same sob-sit arguments, try the same jurisdiction. I ain't got jurisdiction in this place. You can't arrest me. I'm being treated unfairly. Just continuing to waste everybody's fucking time. You've lost the trial, and now it's just become a fucking clown show. You got to appreciate it for what it is, and what it is right now is high fucking comedy, because now I don't know if he's just kind of resigned to the fact that he's going to be spending the rest of his days in jail, which I know a lot of the commentators that are out there, they still have this fucking hack perception because so many of them are just tradcuck fucking boomers, so they don't really understand the inner workings. They've never actually talked to anybody who's been in jail. A lot of them are just transactional fucking attorneys that think that, what's on the screen is, especially when it comes to jail. Sure, they can point out the inconsistencies during a dramatized courtroom setting, but when it comes to people that actually go to jail, the people that have had a stint in there in the more dangerous places, these people that go in for life, they go in with the mindset, and then they just find a way and they comport their life, and unless they do some exceptionally egregious shit, they just live to have a long fucking life. Look at how many serial killers are still in the clink that live to be, 80, 90 years old. Charles Manson didn't end up getting fucking knifed up. He didn't end up getting, stabbed or shanked or died of any kind of fucking diseases. The motherfucker got to live to be 80, for Christ's sakes. He lived a long, luxurious life because he knew how to fucking maneuver. Darrell Brooks will do the exact same shit. He'll join a gang, he'll join a clique, he'll be able to find his fucking way. He might end up taking a dick or two, but you know what, he's a slight guy, he's not able to really fight on anybody, but he's comported himself well out there on the streets. He's been able to join gang after gang. He's found his affiliations, he's all fucking ganged up. He'll be fine when he gets into jail. Don't have some fucking stupid assertions that, oh, you know, prisoners don't like it when you do anything to kids. Dude, fucking prison is full of rapists, murderers, home invaders, some of the worst people on fucking earth, okay? Do you really think that they're just gonna have this soft spot for kids? Yeah, a bunch of them do, and that's the reason why they're in jail, for fuck's sake. So stop with this romanticized view that, oh yeah, something bad's gonna happen to him. Well, I knew this one guy, oh yeah, he got taken care of the first week there. Yeah, probably because he had a big mouth. Darrell Brooks. Now, okay, if you've been following the channel for a while, you're gonna hear, you know, if you scroll through any of the comment sections, which I try not to, but every once in a while you catch one, this dude hates women. No. Darrell Brooks actually hates women, because if you take a look at the way that he questions certain witnesses that are on the stand, it's very funny, and especially the way that he addresses the female DAs that are out there. I forget their names and whatever, you know, they're doing a pretty good job, okay? They're keeping their cross-examinations or their direct examinations very short, very succinct, very to the point, because they have the law, they have the evidence, they have the feeling from everybody in the jurisdiction, okay? They know that they have this slam dunk case. They just need to perform admirably, and they're going to get their desired outcome. This motherfucker's going to be going away for life. Unfortunately, there's no death penalty in Wisconsin. We already went over this. The way that Darrell Brooks addresses the two female DAs is vastly different than he addresses the male DA or any of the male witnesses on the stand. This dude hates women. This dude thinks that he has power over women. Sorry. You take a look at his rap sheet. Who is he? He's assaulted a bunch of people. All of them women, okay? There was this rather large Hispanic dude that went on the stand. He had a criminal history, a couple of DUIs and shit like that, 9 convictions, 7 of them were allowed to be referenced during the examination, but Darrell Brooks, okay, he's what, 5'8", 130 or something like that? The way that he was addressing that big dude was completely different than the way that he talks to the judge or the DA or any of the women witnesses that are up on the stand. When you have actual misogynists, guys who think that they are superior to women, it's completely different than anybody who wants to criticize or somebody who has healthy relationships with women and sex with men. No, just, it's a meme. And also Darrell Brooks' future. That's just something that I noticed and I picked up on, and it's very obvious, especially, oh my lord, over the past couple of days from the previous week, it was very obvious. Like, I don't know, this judge, I called it one of the first days that I seen her in court. I was like, she's a weakling, okay? She's accustomed, right? And like, certain judges have certain temperaments, okay? And she's a female judge, okay? Might do a great job, okay, when she's dealing with professionals, but when she's dealing with somebody as rambunctious and childish as Darrell Brooks, you need to have a firm fucking hand. You don't delve into their delusions. They're trying to drag you into their frame. They're trying to conduct this courtroom. They're trying to gain all of the power that they possibly can. And that's what's happened during this trial. Everybody is at the whims and everybody is at the mercy of Darrell Brooks. He just levies these ridiculous objections all the time, okay? And then whenever one of the DAs levy an objection, he's immediately calling grounds. He doesn't even know what the fuck that means, okay? Everybody's subject to the whims of Darrell Brooks, and he's allowed to do a whole bunch of shit, mostly because Judge Dorow, Jennifer Dorow, allows him to do it. Sir, if you do that one more time, I'll have you taken out of this courtroom and I'll have you sent over to the other place. Sir, you need to be quiet. Sir, you continue to interrupt me. If you do it again, oh no, don't you do it again. He's made a mockery of that courtroom. And if the judge isn't strong enough, or the judge doesn't know how to handle this situation, she shouldn't be the presiding judge. Her rulings are fair. Her interpretation of the law is correct. She's good at her job. She's just terrible at handling the situation. And Brooks, somebody who, I don't like to say this lightly, an absolute misogynist, is taking advantage of this situation. That's just the way it is. Judge, in the case of a man accused, he's not even accused at this point, okay? Like, multiple people have identified him. There's video evidence. Everybody knows that's his vehicle. It's registered to him. Oh, right, no, but it's not him who's in the courtroom. He's a third-party intervener for Darrell Brooks. Another one of his bullshit fucking sovereign citizen ideas. Which what the sovereign citizen idea is, he is an individual independent of any state or any jurisdiction. Ergo, the laws do not apply to him, and you can be tried under admiralty court because there's a yellow fringe around the flag that's in the courtroom. Those arguments never fucking work, but all these jailhouse attorneys think that they will. One day, somebody's going to eventually bring the case, okay? And they're going to win, and they're going to prove all of their arguments correct. Just haven't fucking seen them bore out. So yeah, no, everybody knows it's him. Video evidence of him running over those people is there. The corpses are there. Everybody knows, okay? Like, he's got an overwhelming amount of charges. His corpse is going to be in that jail long after nuclear winter is set in, okay? Don't even have to fucking worry about that. So we can kind of drop this whole accused, alleged thing, okay? Even though he likes to refer to himself as the alleged defendant. Like, this dude's fucking nuts. It's intermittently engaging watching this trial. For the most time, it's just long, boring stretches of time because this guy, if you thought Hassan Piker was a fucking awful public speaker, Darrell Brooks takes at least 3 to 4 times longer to formulate a sentence or even just ask a line of questions than Hassan does. I don't say that lightly. I've watched enough of this stuff to at least know that that is accurate. All right. But yeah, no, he drove through the Christmas parade, ran over a bunch of people, killed a few people, and has the audacity to look like that at the judge. At the judge who's just trying to conduct a fair trial, but doesn't understand that you're dealing with somebody who's unhinged and has nothing to fucking lose. You can see the bailiff, who has been fucking hilarious behind Darrell Brooks. He's like, Judge, just give me a reason. Just give me a reason. Well, he's got one hand on the fucking billy club. Like, that dude's facial expressions, they're great. Anyways, yeah, Brooks, 40. Allegedly plowed through the crowd at a Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin on November 21st, 2021. Oh, that was after he beat his girlfriend at the time, and then a couple days after he tried to run her over with the SUV. Like, this dude's a hunk of shit on multiple levels. Killing 6 people between the ages of 8 and 81 and injuring more than 60 people. Like, this guy's never getting out of jail. And like I said before, if he comported himself well, presented a decent case, had some sort of compelling arguments in any form or fashion, he might have been able to convince somebody to give him parole 20 years down the line, okay? Because, again, he's young-ish in perspective of all this stuff. He goes away, and remember, prison's supposed to be rehabilitative in some form or fashion, so you send him away, you teach him to be a better person, give him the opportunity for parole somewhere down the line. That was the only thing that he was ultimately going to end up getting, because the evidence is overwhelming against them. Maybe he had the opportunity for parole, but he's done with all that stuff. I'm pretty sure the jury was in the court during this time, but they've been there for a ton of his fucking antics, just his nonsensical idea of his interpretation of the law. And even during his deferred opening statement, which he gave just before he presents his case in chief, which is just about wrapping up. I think it should be wrapped up today or something like that. It's tough to tell because he's just going to try to drag this out for as long as possible because the judge isn't cutting him off. Okay, you got 2 more questions on this line because you've just been circling around over and over and over again. If she would put some confinements on him, maybe he would start to realize that he's as fucked as he actually is. Because this trial, it could have been done in a couple of days. Like, the prosecution could have made this fucking laborious by dragging everybody. Because like you see, 6 people dead, 60 more people injured. I think their case in chief was a shade under a week. And now Brooks is bringing as many people. It's like none of them helped you. Most of them just threw you under the bus. But you're just dragging more people out there to drag this out. So you got more attention on you. So you don't have to spend so many hours inside of a jail cell. He has nothing to lose and everything to gain from this. So why not make this a complete fucking song and dance? Though Brooks elected to represent himself in this trial, 3 days before the trial started up, he's like, I'm firing my public defendant because he's stupid and shit. And then the public defendant was like, okay, deuces, and fucking left. It was just another opportunity to stall and thinks that, well, I didn't have proper enough time to study all this stuff. We gotta look at all these boxes that I have. I didn't have enough time to look through everything. I just got some of this stuff recently. Like, you think that was going to be a defense? Anybody who's going to take you, give you any sort of deference because of your terrible fucking decision making? Like, just stop it. Dorow said Friday that Brooks was giving her a stare down, which she called disrespectful and frankly makes me scared. Why would you say that? Why would you allow that to happen in your courtroom? The moment he makes a face like that, looking directly at you, knowing that that's a murderer giving you that stare, that bailiff should be giving that guy fucking wood shampoo like nobody's business. Shouldn't be letting anybody frighten you. It's your fucking courtroom. What the fuck are you doing? Brooks had just finished accusing the prosecution of coaching Brooks' own witnesses. Oh yeah, exactly. Everybody's out there to get you. You fucking loser. An allegation Dorow said had no basis in fact. I find it funny that all of a sudden now the prosecution don't want to have any cross-examination on my witness. Well, if you've listened to what the witnesses were delivering his testimony, they would know that basically you were doing the prosecution's job for them because they were just continuing to identify you as the driver who ran through the fucking Christmas parade, okay? And then somebody else who was beating up his girlfriend before driving through the Christmas parade. So they weren't helping you at all. They were just doing the prosecution's job for him. So what more answers do you want them to elicit on cross-examination and think, well, I think that that's awfully funny that now all of a sudden they don't have any questions. It's almost like they were coaching the witnesses. The ones that you called? Like, brother, you need to fucking formulate your ideas first before you start spouting off all this stuff. But again, this is another one of those things. He has nothing to lose in this situation. And the fact that she is indulging all of his nonsensical arguments just shows you that she is not the judge for this case. She's used to dealing with highly professional lawyers, a professional DA staff, and a professional defense attorney. Not some fucking rampant psycho with 6 bodies to his name and however you want to divvy out the other 60 that he fucking clipped. But yeah, there she is standing up, leaving the bench every single time. She should have him because after this outburst, Brooks was removed from the courtroom and put remotely where he was just, dicking about with the headphones on. My microphone is muted. I can't talk right now. I can't hear because you took off the fucking headphones, you nincompoop. But you know what she should do? Okay, cool. Yeah, you're giving me that look like that. Bailiff, remove this piece of shit to the other fucking courtroom and then just sit down on the bench and just wait for everything to get set up in the other fucking courtroom. Look him dead in the eye as he continues to fucking move on to the other. Show him who's boss because, again, he's used to just making women do whatever he wants for him under the fear that he's going to get physical with them. Because that's the look of a guy who's ready to come over the fucking desk. But then also at the same time knowing that there are so many bailiffs that are around there. One bailiff that's right behind there just being like, just give me the fucking opportunity, judge. Just give me the fucking opportunity. It's like nobody was actually going to do anything. Like if Brooks even decided to make a fucking lunge towards the judge or the DA's table that's 6 to 8 feet across from him, okay, they wouldn't even need to lay out a cot for him in prison, okay? They could just they could probably empty the files that are in those banker's boxes right there and then just take that hunk of shit out to the fucking trash. Just saying. But yeah, no, that's the video from inside the courtroom, and that's what Court TV has the fucking court feed that's in there. Yeah, he was staring her down the entire time as she was dressing down some legal argument, and it's like, sir, can you please not do that? That's making me uncomfortable. He's a fucking murderer. What did you expect? The trial became a bit of a sideshow. Oh, it started out as a sideshow because I don't know why he had his shirt off when he was in the other courtroom. It's like, the fuck is going on? And it's like, it started out crazy. It continued to be crazy. And then as the days have gone on, it's probably just delved deeper into insanity. All because the judge just can't handle her fucking courtroom. As Brooks was removed to participate virtually in a separate courtroom multiple times because he kept yelling, he kept making an asshole out of himself, he kept misstating the facts, all in front of the jury. They're like, listen, we need an opportunity to silence this motherfucker, and then putting a ball gag on his mouth is probably not the best thing to do in front of the jury to prejudice him further, but you can't let him prejudice himself further in front of the jury because he's a rambling dick. Okay, so just put him in the other room, which again is like, it doesn't win you any sympathy points to the jury because everybody's like, you're just making this last longer than it needs to. You're not raising any decent points that are out there. You're just being a fucking moron, okay? Just stop it. Stop it at this point. Because deliberations in this one, however long it takes them to fill out the fucking jury form, okay? This dude is done in under 2 hours. 70 some fucking 70 some counts against him. Oh, deliberations will be done. It all depends when this shit ends, okay? Whether or not it's before or after lunch, okay? Because if they have the opportunity to get one more fucking free meal, that's the only thing that'll be holding this shit up, because this stuff will be done like that. Life, no parole, deuces. And then I just want to see the fucking waterworks that are after that, or it's like, this is racist. This is racist. I was abducted by that Ford that day. And it's like, just, I'm waiting for those spurg outs. That's about it. That's about it. And his closing argument, because he didn't really lay out his whole strategy for the case during his opening argument. It was just 15 minutes. 15 minutes of him slowly talking and crying. It's like, why are you crying? You fucking ruined, like, at least 70 families' lives, okay? Like, why are you crying? Nobody feels bad for you. You're a fucking murderer. You're just mad you got caught and didn't get to release the rest of your mixtape. But yeah, back to this for a second. I'm voicing all of my displeasure that I've had watching this trial, because it's been laborious. It's no Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. It is definitely no Kyle Rittenhouse. It's not even Kim Potter when it comes to that stuff, because at least there was some competent lawyering on one side or another. The judge is pretty comparable. Okay, they're both pretty fucking bad, but this trial in and of itself is just fucking pathetic, and it should be over. Anyways. The trial became a bit of a sideshow at multiple stages, as Brooks was removed to participate virtually in the separate courtroom multiple times and yelled that the court had no integrity after the jury had been excused for the day. At times, Brooks had refused to recognize his own name. I do not authorize to be referred to by that name. I do not recognize that name. It's like, dude, it's your fucking name, okay? And you filled out your own name on legal documents, okay? So it's like, you're Darrell Brooks. You know you're Darrell Brooks. Everybody in the courtroom knows that you're Darrell Brooks. Stop with this sob sid. I'm a third-party intervener. Bro, okay, so what's the third-party intervener's name? Darrell Brooks? Yeah, okay, cool, great. And frequently muttered under his breath, oh yeah, oh, you trying to be slick now? I see what's going on. About the trial not being fair, and objected to almost every question prosecutors have asked witnesses. Yeah, that's normally after he just decides to flare up, and then the judge wants to engage him, okay? Gives him a little bit of intention, and then he starts to just ramble on about just the dumbest fucking objections, and then grounds. It's like, brother, you don't know what that fucking means. At one point, he stuffed a laminated sign reading "objection" into his waistband of his orange prison attire. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was before the cases in chief were presented. Okay. While repeatedly mentioning about the amount of suffering the parade incident had created, his own included. Yeah, exactly. People, there's two sides to every story, and this has just been so tragic for all the families involved, including mine. They call me monster. They call me a demon, and that's not fair. You ran over and killed 6 people and injured 60 more. I think monster and demon are the least of the mean words people can be calling you. I can think of one more that's a little bit more descriptive, but I don't think you'd like it. Yeah, but there he is. I think probably during his opening argument, he was crying. It was really sad. Sad that his 4 minutes of dialogue got drug out to 15-minute long. The fuck is this? I feel uncomfortable. Why is a grown man crying? But to be fair, when he at least was talking in front of the court, he did manage to drop some tears, unlike Amber Heard. So he's at least a little bit better in that respect. But he does share some similarities with Amber Heard, even though, you know, he'd probably want to share a little bit more than just similarities with Amber Heard. But I digress. He's getting certain coverage from certain media outlets that are out there. You won't fucking believe this. USA Today. God, I hate the USA Today. They're just a fucking shit outlet, okay? Mocked Kyle Rittenhouse's tears. Shows sympathy for Waukesha massacre driver after he cried in court. Yeah, take a look at those two headlines. Kyle Rittenhouse deserves an award for his melodramatic performance on the witness stand. Broke that shit down. Like, that was tough to watch, okay? Mostly because it was a 17-year-old kid at that time, moments away from death on multiple occasions, and then just had the trigger discipline that has yet to be matched or duplicated. during the past 2 years. Then you got a murderer with a rap sheet as long as his borrowed suit jacket arms are. And his solipsistic rant gets some sort of sympathy points from the USA Today. What a fucking shit outlet this place is. USA Today has come under fire for biased reporting as social media users juxtapose their coverage of the trials of suspected Waukesha Christmas Parade Terrorist, the Darrell Brooks. That's fair. That's fair. To their coverage of Kyle Rittenhouse, the teenager who shot 3. We'll break that down. He shot a pedophile, a domestic abuser, and a fucking commie. I'd say that's a good day's work in self-defense. Popular Twitter user Defiant Els. Yeah, that shit is fucking hilarious. They juxtapose. Yeah, it's normally that format right there, but then they'll have a prominent Twitter user's face. Okay, they'll just take the two conflicting statements. Like one of the more popular formats has been recently. Okay, it was everybody who was advocating for the jab, and then underneath of it, it's like medical autonomy for all. Our bodies, our choice when it comes to abortion. It's just perfect hypocrisy. But yeah, they got the one from USA Today who don't know if that's necessarily the same author, but it's the same shit outlet. Rittenhouse deserves an award for his melodramatic performance on the witness stand, care of November 10th, 2021, and just a shade under a year later. Wisconsin Christmas Parade defendant. He's also self-representing himself. But he's also the third-party intervener. So, okay, again, a couple of different ways you could have went with this one. But this is the one that you chose, huh? Interesting. Gives tearful opening statement. 2 sides to every story. It abducted me and was honking. Those white people can get out of the way. And I just can't. But you guys haven't heard the story yet, but one lid on my car, you won't believe that I got a hood underneath my windshield wiper. They were throwing shit in my car, man. I was honking. They wouldn't get out of my way. The racist white people wanted to slow down my vehicle. I was just trying to get down Main Street, man. Fucking Christ, can you believe it? First story, an opinion piece on November 2021 trial of then 18-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse, a new YouTuber. Subscribe to his channel, is titled Kyle Rittenhouse Deserves an Award for His Melodramatic Performance on the Witness Stand. It was, yeah, man, like I said before, that shit was hard to fucking watch because you could see that kid, like, you could see his acts go before his eyes, okay? That was legitimate PTSD manifesting, first and foremost. As you juxtapose that with stupid Darrell Brooks, he's like, oh man, I got caught, and now I'm going to spend the rest of my life in a 10x8 cell with a man named Bubba, and I'm really not going to enjoy my time, and then just starts breaking down because he knows that all of his terrible life choices have manifested in this moment right here. Yeah, definitely an apples to apples comparison. Rittenhouse was just 17 at the time and was armed with a rifle in an attempt to protect local businesses during the Black Lives Matter riot that caused mass unrest in Kenosha, Wisconsin on August 25th, 2020. Holy God, it's been a weird past couple of years. Anyways, it's like everybody knows that, but every once in a while you get a reminder of just how shit these past few years have been. He was chased by 3 men who he ended up shooting. He shot at another one who kicked him in the face. Jump kick man. I forget his name, but we have a video on him on all the channels. Anyways, yeah, another career criminal who the prosecution's office knew all about that. Anyways, during the trial, the teen appeared to be emotional as he argued that he only acted in self-defense when he fatally shot Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber. Round of applause for those actions. Pedophile and a domestic abuser they've left us far too soon, but a few kids and a couple of family members are safer because of it. And injured Gage Grosskreutz. How did he do that? Vaporizing a fucking bicep. Round of applause for that. Round of applause for that. It looks like there won't be a flag-carrying commie while also passing out pamphlets at the same time because he'll have to make a choice. We'll just say that. If found first degree intentional homicide, he faced a mandatory life sentence, according to Fox News. Yeah, he was up on a whole bunch of different charges, but USA Today piece authored by Carly Pearson, some fucking liberal white woman. How adorable. Not only characterized Rittenhouse's tears as a melodramatic performance, but described it as nauseating and argued that the innocent kid act shouldn't fool anyone. Yeah, it was justifiable self-defense, the likes of which we'll never see captured on film ever again. It was the most clear-cut example I have ever seen in 4K. Kyle Rittenhouse's crocodile tears broke the internet Wednesday. Yeah, even LeBron James retardedly tweeted something out. Looked like that kid's sucking on lemon heads. Watch me miss this dunk. 9 days later, Rittenhouse was found not guilty, and we're still gonna dance on that one because fuck the commies. By a jury, proving this depiction of him to be false. Now, they just continue to just slander his name over and over and over again. I thought Whoopi caught a case because he continues to say, that murderous kid. And it's like, that's slander and shit. In May of this year, Pearson, who is on USA Today's editorial board, of course she is, maintained her argument that Rittenhouse used white crocodile tears. Okay, gave it another descriptor because that's necessary to gain sympathy. The article covering the trial of Brooks, 39, the defendant, who is representing himself against allegations that he is the driver of a van. It's an SUV. It's the Ford Escape, I'm pretty sure, that intentionally crashed into a Waukesha, Wisconsin's annual Christmas parade. Constructs a much different story. Brooks, a convicted sex offender. Yeah, the baby mama that he punched in the face before driving his vehicle through the Christmas parade, he knocked up at 15. Yeah. And he just about opened the door when examining her during his case in chief to that line of questioning about his previous criminal offenses, because he's a really smart pro se defendant. Who has multiple courtroom outbursts as an attempt to deny that he killed 6 people. I don't even know what his case is because he just kind of rambles on. Is like, I'm sorry I got caught. Can you please take sympathy on me? I was like, what are we doing? The article titled Wisconsin Christmas Parade Defendant. Waukesha Christmas Parade Massacreist? Wouldn't that be more apt? Gives tearful opening statements. 2 sides to every story. Yes, he vocalized the number 2. What are you, 5? By Quinn Clark and Janine Stacucci. Paints a kinder picture of the defendant. Yeah, because those goddamn white people, they were just trying to bust up this guy's grill on his Ford. You just can't have that happening. Obvious comparison here. It happened in Wisconsin. That's about where the comparisons end. Anyways. Under the subheading, defendant gives emotional opening statement. Halfway through the trial, after everybody's already like, we're tired of this motherfucker, okay, and your tears aren't going to help anybody. It's just going to make everybody feel awkward because it's like a guy crying in public like that. That shit is fucking weird. Defendant gives emotional opening statement. He's visibly emotional, and the impact to the families, the victims, the community of Waukesha, and his own family. He removed the face mask he had donned for most of the trial so the jury could see me for who I am. No mask, the article continued before quoting Brooks saying that there are 2 sides to every story. One might think that a publication might be a bit more harsh to a person who was caught on video entering the same red SUV before it was driven into a crowd, killing 4 women, a man, and an 8-year-old child. Yeah, you'd think that, but let me guess. There's a little bit of a difference because you got Kyle Rittenhouse right there, little cherub-faced kid, and then you got Darrell Brooks on the other side. Man, he's lived a hard life. Yes, exactly. He's just found so many women to impede the path of his fist and impede the travels of his vehicle. And it's like, this dude's definitely lived a hard life, and you can see it manifesting right there in the courtroom. Probably the next video I do on this is when this hunk of shit ultimately learns his fucking fate at the hands of the jury. Should be happening in a couple of days' time. Couldn't be happier to say sayonara to this fucking waste of fucking space. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.